the MISC Freelancer MIS, the military gunship variant of the Freelancer series of ships. It comes with a better power plant, faster quantum drive, and a load of more missiles, but unfortunately to make way for these it has less cargo space in total. The total cargo space this ship has is 36 SCU compared to the normal Freelancer's 66. Now this is quite a big hit, but some people could enjoy this much more as they won't use the cargo space given as they will only be doing bounties or missions which don't require it. Now the quantum drive of this ship has enough fuel to get you anywhere in the star system at least once. If you're trying to go multiple locations so that are quite far away, you may have to then start thinking about refueling, but other than that it's quite good. Moving on to how much the ship is, and the price of this ship is $175 without any tax added, and to buy this ship in-game it will be 2,537,800 aUEC, and unfortunately you cannot rent it in-game. Now starting off with a ship tour of a Freelancer, and at the front there is a ladder which you could use to enter, or you go to the back and there's a cargo bay ramp. I'll use the cargo bay ramp just for ease of walking throughout the ship. As you can see, it's quite a decent sized place with able to fit some wider ground vehicles inside. There is access to your cargo held in just the middle. This is your 33 SCU, and there are components on either side, which is just located there and there. Now behind us and up is access to a turret. This has got two size 2 Badger laser repeaters on them and can be great if you bring a friend along. They can actually do something in a ship, which I know some ships do struggle with sometimes. Now moving just towards this section here, which is the docking section, but it's not really, it's a missile holding section. This is where your 20 extra electromagnetic missiles are held, just in a little rack here. In some of the other Freelancer variants you'll see either extra cargo or a scanning station or extra fuel held here. Moving out of this room here and towards a docking centre, this is where your cargo is kind of held on the side, some little bit of extra stuff, and then also a docking collar just above. In the future this will be way more usable as well, docking will actually be a thing. Going more towards the front of the ship, and here as you can see, the living quarters. Just to the right side we have access to a shower and toilet combined. And on the left side, food making facilities. There is access to an entrance to the ship which I mentioned earlier, just there, and then a computer which will be usable in the future. There's 4 habitation pads which also double as escape pods, so you can bring up to 4 friends along with you, or 3 including yourself, and that's it for that room. Then there's a cockpit. Moving into here, and as you can see, the typical Freelancer or MISC styled cockpit. It's a nice, very nice cockpit. The only problem is it's very small amount of visibility at the front there, but we've access to 4 seats. 2 co-seats which are at the back and don't really do anything, 1 co-pilot seat which doesn't do anything also, and then at the front just here we've access to a pilot seat. Now sitting down just inside the pilot seat just here, as you can see what I was on about, the visibility isn't the best. You can of course see all to your right and to your left, but you've loads of blind spots like anywhere up here, anywhere below you, and although you can see a little bit above you, it's not very much. You can't even see that far behind you. Still though, I actually quite like the design of this, just I can see how impractical it would be if you were to actually try and do combat in it. Now you have access to 4 MFD screens with them all being customized, but the 2 on the left and the right side are sometimes blocked by your arms, so you may struggle to see some things and press buttons on them, but other than that they're quite nicely placed. I'll just show a short takeoff clip with this ship with boost applied under gravity conditions just to show you the acceleration. And if you couldn't tell, whilst the acceleration isn't too bad, it doesn't get up to a very high top speed under gravity conditions, so take that as you will and remember that if you're buying it. Now moving on to the combat usage of this ship, and this ship has 4 sized 3 laser cannons for the pilot, and I think these are actually quite good for dealing with small to medium sized ships. You may struggle when dealing with anything too large, but overall they're quite nice to use. This ship also comes with a turret on the back which you saw. This has 2 size 2 laser repeaters on it, and although this is nothing special, if you have a friend that wants to come along and join you in this ship, it can definitely give them something to do, and even so, although it's not that good, anything helps when it comes to combat. Going back to the pilot, and in missiles, the pilot can control 8 sized 3 cross-section missiles and can also control 20 sized 3 electromagnetic missiles. The electromagnetic missiles is what you are paying extra for in the MIS, as the rest of the ship is a default Freelancer, as that also gets the same amount of loadout. This ship though gets 2 size 2 shields, and honestly these aren't the best for a military ship. They break quite easily when put under a lot of pressure and don't hold out too long. They are okay though if it's only a small amount of damage coming your way, or only one ship, let's say. This ship is also a little lacking when it comes down to handling, as, well, the hull itself is not built to be good at this. It's still the default Freelancer hull, like I've said. Although it does get the job done, and if only the VTOL worked like it said in the concept videos. But anyway, the visibility of the ship is also a little detrimental, as it makes it so that you cannot see your enemies 100% of the time, so do keep that in mind if you want to engage in combat in it. Now, starting off with an overview, and personally starting it off on a bad note, but I don't recommend this ship if you're wanting the most for your money, as for what you get extra, it's not really worth the price. This is because all it gets extra is a set of missiles, 20 of them, the electromagnetic ones, and although these are good, they don't deal much more damage compared to the default missiles. Now, in addition to this, the missiles remove 33 SCU of cargo space, and although you can still fit a ground vehicle in the back and still have a little bit of room in front of you, but some people could find this as quite a bit of a bonus, as they don't really use the back at all. Now, although I said it's not worth the extra money, it isn't actually that much in total, with it only coming in at 2.5 million aUEC. So if you like your Freelancers, this could be a good upgrade to the default one. The interior does feel a little crowded sometimes as they try to cram so much into such a small place and be quite efficient, but this does mean that it comes with quite a lot on the interior in a practical sense. Now personally, this is not what I'm looking for when I'm trying to buy a ship, as it's meant to be quite a nice experience, but in a more practical sense this is definitely more efficient. Now you're going to have to try to make your own decision on this one, whether it's worth it or not, as currently I can't really decide whether pros and cons all outweigh each other. But do let me know down in the comments below which one you picked, whether it's worth it or not. But that seems to be me, Duffer, out.